Exciting news, everyone. We just got even more new mods in Baldur's Gate 3's Patch 7 Mod Manager for console, and of this, we get ourselves some new classes, new faces, new clothing options, fixes for romance if you want to romance any character, as well as new wing mods, which is pretty cool. You can see there, they flap when you're running around, and there's 4 new wings that we get added to the game. So we'll be covering all the new mods. There's also some other cool things that have been added as well. So I'll be covering all of that in this video. Super exciting. It's literally like Christmas morning when I saw all the new mods getting added. So first things first, the Dread Overlord Warlock. This is my favorite subclass that got added. I have a lot of fun with this. It's like a Necromancer Warlock, but it doesn't function like the normal Warlock. I'll go a bit deeper into detail, but you can summon all the things you see here. Like you can summon a Skeleton Warlock, which can do things like Scorching Ray. You can summon a large skeleton, which has some attacks that are strong. And at higher levels, you can summon a Necromancer Skeleton Dragon, which is super cool. So you can see here, tons and tons of unique benefits for this. It's more fleshed out than any of the Warlock classes in the base game, which I think is incredible. We also have new heads here from Lydia. This is the one that made by Playmon here, who created the Seraphina head, which was added a week ago. So we got ourselves a few new heads. Really exciting for this because this means that we're going to be getting a lot more customization options in the game. So this is incredible. So you can see there the different types. It depends on the body type that you select, and you can get different faces for elves, drows, etc. So extremely cool to see this getting added. We also have new camp clothings from Fear Taylor here. So a bunch of different options, which are based on options that are in the base game, but just a little bit different, modified to be camp clothing. So you can see here we got some different things like the Barbarian, almost like Mizora's dress there, and then other ones here like the Shar, Orin's clothing. They're really nice. Just get a bunch of customization. They can all be dyed too. They're all just using the green dyes here, but 31 total outfits. And you can see we even have some of the ones here that a lot of people are excited, we're hoping that would come to in-game mod manager from like the basket full of clothing mod. So getting these here is extremely exciting because I know a lot of people were asking for new clothing. So these two being the most excited, like the mage and the dread cultist armors. We also have some other ones here that are, again, based off of base game clothings. And then there are some non-dyeable ones like the Dryad armor here and then Mizora's dress. So you can get all of these and many more. Some of them don't clip properly, so just be mindful of that. But yeah, really cool mod. I like to see these two being added into the game. These armors look incredible. So I'm super excited to see this because I know a lot of people are asking for new clothing mods. And it's nice to finally see some common ones that I've seen in PC Mod Manager getting added to the game. So that is now available in Baldur's Gate 3. In addition to this, there's also some fixes, so if you want to romance multiple characters without having them be upset at you, you can now do that. So I know a lot of people were looking for this mod in particular, so this is now available. There are some bugs that says use at your own risk, so again, with really any mod, there are some bugs that can happen with mods, so just be mindful of that. And yeah, this could potentially cause a few issues with making some different interactions that happen, but it should work properly, hopefully. And it's nice to see it. I've had a lot of people comment and say this mod works fantastically. I don't really focus too much on the romance in this game, so I don't really use these too much. Shadowheart's my favorite, so yeah, this is great for people that want to try this out and get a lot of different romance endings in the game. Now, the wings unlock. This one I love. You can see here what they look like. In the character creator, they're going to be stretched out and static, but when you move around, they look like this. So very well done with this mod. Now, it does have some issues sometimes with the wings flapping. I do have a mod that makes me run really quickly, so that does cause some issues with the wings. But you got yourselves like the Undead wings, the Diva wings, Cambion wings, which I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. Another variation of them, and then also I guess that's back to the Diva wings. So that is really cool. Happy to see that, and it looks great. So I'll just show off briefly what this looks like if we go into the wings here. And there's the decayed wings, which have this decayed look to them. You can see there. I like having these mods because it just gives you a lot of extra freedom for customization. If you want to make a Cambion that looks like a real Cambion here, you can go ahead and apply these wings to their back. So what's nice about this is you move and they flap around as well, so it can get a little bit realistic looking. Obviously my character is moving really fast, so there's some issues that happen with that, but I think as a whole this mod is incredible because it just gives a bit of extra customization for the character, and always for that kind of stuff in the game. We also got extra feats, so I'll be covering this a little bit more in detail. And also some different custom mods like custom dice and passive rolls. So whenever you're exploring, you'll see your unique dies that you've gotten added to the game. So makes use of the many die mods that got added to the Baldur's Gate 3 console mod manager. So really cool to see that getting added in as well. Another mod I just wanted to briefly touch on, this was added yesterday, but the D20 initiative. Not a lot of people know the initiative die in the base game is a 1d4. So this adds it to be a 1d20 now, which is in line with Dungeons and Dragons. So it just makes things a little bit more realistic for if you're a tabletop player. I like the 1d4 die because it just makes my team move together. But this is a cool one I just wanted to briefly touch on. But yeah, I'm going to get into my two favorites in detail here, the Dread Overlord, as well as the Feats Extra mod, because there's a lot of really great things that come from that. So the Warlock here, Dread Overlord, made by the Dread Overlord. So that's who created this mod. Your cultist fighting under the banner of the Dread Overlord, a monstrous Dracolich necromancer who seeks to spread his malefice and terror all over the lands. In return for your service, boundless power over death itself and the promise of eternal life await. Command the very souls of the dead and raise powerful greater undead in his profane name. So you get yourself some unique cantrips. You get necrotic armaments here, which infuses your weapon with a 1d4 of necrotic damage, and the imbued weapon cannot be disarmed by enemies. Flaces, mails, scimitars, and sickles wielded offhand are also ignited, so if you use two weapons, duel the flames. Reclaim Undead allows you to reclaim Curse the Night of the Living Dead, regain a minion point for each reclaimed undead as a bonus action. And minion points are used to summon in things, because we don't have a lot of spell slots, obviously, as a warlock. The Shield of Souls gives you to summon the lost souls from the grave and use them as a protective shield around you. Binding additional souls to your soul shield confers increased protection, so you can use this just for survivability's sake. Wearing light, medium, or heavy armor in any slot will restrict your ability, so you have to use clothing for this. We also have the Create Crawling Claws. This gives you the ability to summon in little claws, and you can actually summon a lot of them. So 4 of them at level 3, and this just continues to increase, so I'll be touching on that a bit later. You also have the Dread Cultist, trained by the Order of the Dracolich. You are proficient in mace, flails, maces, scimitars, sickles, and shields. You may call upon the Dread Overlord's power to ignite your weapon with his dark will, and that's the necrotic armaments. We also have our Self-Forbidden Lore, which gives profane knowledge +1 to any roll made with Arcana or History. And then we also have the abilities there. It mentions we also have the Soul Harvest, so you may harvest the souls of the dead and bind them with your soul shield to protect or invoke the spirit's wrath against your enemies. You can command the souls of the dead to surround you with a shield of souls, initially adding 1 to your armor class until long rest. You may bind additional spirits to your soul shield and commit corpse. Each captured soul provides an additional +1 armor class, so you can get pretty tanky with this. As you command the captured soul to do your bidding in combat, as long as you have a captured soul available, you may invoke the spirit to spook your enemies, protect an ally through a ghostly apparition, or vengeful phantasm to strike your enemies. And you also have the Binder of Lost Souls, increasing limited to your minion points to a maximum of 1. So depending on how many minion points you have, you can inflict Night of the Living Dead there on the enemies. So your plans to short or long rest, and you can create 2 Crawling Claws or 4 from bees from any Create Clawing Claws at any time. And for the spells that we can choose, if you have the 5e spells mod, console players may not have this, but eventually it will get added. You do have a few extra spells here, but Inflict Wounds and Fog Cloud, 2 really great spells that we can get, and you can also take like a Hex or Hellish Rebuke. And then for our, cantrip starting off, we obviously want our Eldritch Blast. There's a bunch of other ones here. Again, depending if you have what mods you have. I always say to take Eldritch Blast, and then even things like using any, Bone Chill to prevent target from healing works well. There are also many other ones like Green Flame Blade and Booming Blade if you want to go Pact of the Blade. But I think it's actually best to go with the Pact of the Chain for this one. Now for our starting weapon, you get a Bone Staff, Skull Flail, or Ritual Sickle, depending on what your choice may be. And for our ability scores, we're going to go with 16 Charisma, and then put the rest into probably Dexterity, and then a bit of Wisdom, or a bit of Constitution for survivability, a bit of Wisdom and Strength, and something like that looks good, but you can swap it out for Intelligence. So I'll just show off this class because it's really cool, and I'll also show off the extra feats that were added to the game as well. And we have some different Eldritch Invocations here, depending on what you got, but Repelling Blast and Agonizing Blast, 2 of the best. It's hard to go wrong with those. But once we get to level 3, we get to choose an Unholy Pact, and I would recommend going with so there's a few different options here. So you can see you can get Bone Chill with your Pact weapon whenever you use Pact of the Blade. So whenever you strike with a melee attack, stops the target from healing. You can also go with a Fine Familiar, Endress the Devil Dog, which I'm going to show off, which is super cool. And if you choose Pact of the Tome, you can add the necrotic armaments to your undead minions, dealing a little bit extra necrotic damage. So depending on what you want to focus on, I think Pact of the Chain is the best, because Andrus the Devil Dog is just really good. Typically, I'm a big fan of Pact of the Blade, but Pact of the Chain here just is so much better. So we're going to go with that, and then at our next level, I'll show off the feats here. So we get ourselves another cantrip. We can just really choose whatever there, and new level spells. Now again, I have the extra 5e spells, so we have things like Flock of Familiars, allowing us to summon in a few familiars at a time. But here is the feats. So once we scroll down here, you can see there's a ton of them. An absolute ton. So Skill Expert, you get increase the ability score by 1 to a maximum 20. You gain proficiency in a skill of your choice. Choose one skill you have a proficiency in. You gain expertise in that skill. The skill you choose must be one that you already have a benefit from a feature, such as expertise. So with this, you can take things like increase 1 to charisma, and then you can take something like an increase to your persuasion if you want to, and it'll give you an extra boost to that. So this is nice, just giving you an extra skill. Persuasion being the one that I would recommend the most. Any of the language ones, so persuasion, intimidation, or deception work pretty great. Second Chance, you do have to be a halfling. Fortune favors you when someone tries to strike you. You gain the following benefits: increase your dexterity, constitution, or charisma score by 1 to a maximum of 20. When you creature you see hits you with an attack roll, you can use your reaction to force them to reroll. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again till you roll initiative at the start of combat, or you finish a short or long rest, which actually is pretty common. So this is nice if you wanted to put like dexterity to 17, you can take it up to 18 and then get this pretty early on. We have the Rune Shaper, so spellcasting feature Rune Carver background. You've studied the magic of the giant runes. This is great for the fighter subclass, the Rune Knight. You learn to comprehend the languages of a spell, so this doesn't really apply outside of Dungeons and Dragons, so it's a little bit different how it gets changed. You learn to comprehend the language spells. You can cast a spell without expending a long rest. You must do a long rest before you can cast it again. So this will allow you to, long story short here, you can increase your spellcasting ability and get some different skills here. So pretty cool Rune Magic. Remarkable Recovery allows you to recover quickly from terrible injuries. You unusually receptive to healing magic. You gain the following benefits: increase your constitution by 1, and you're successfully stabilized while dying. You regain hit points equal to your constitution modifier. Whenever you regain hit points as a result of spell, potion, or class feature, you also take you add those extra health points equal to your constitution modifier. So you heal a bit quicker with this. So if you have a amulet of greater health, you'll take extra 6 healing every time you're healed, and you also whenever you are stabilized after dying, you'll have a little bit more health. Poisoner, this is one that I wish was in the base game. Your spells and attacks ignore resistance to poison damage, and you may use a Poisoner's Kit. So poison damage, the worst damage type in the game because everyone resisted. Being able to ignore resistances is actually huge. Meta Magic Adept, this is another one that a lot of people wish was in the base game. Spellcasting or packed magic feature, you learn 2 meta magics. The choice from the sorcerer class, you can only use 1 meta magic when you cast it. You also gain 2 sorcery points, and you regain all of them on a long rest. So unfortunately, with this, you gain 2 sorcery points, and this one requires 3 to cast, so that is a little bit unfortunate. But you also get any choice of the sorcerer's spells there, so that's really nice. The Keenness of the Stone Giant, you manifested the physical emblematics of a stone giant, allowing you to increase the benefits of strength, constitution, or wisdom by 1. Cavernous Sight, 12 meters of dark vision. If you already have dark vision, it increases it by 12 meters. And you get Stone Throw as a bonus action, so that's pretty nice. You take a rock and make a magical attack with it. The attack's range is up to 12 meters and uses the ability score. You increase with this feat as the spellcasting ability. So, yeah, you can just pick one a little bit different if you wanted to boost your constitution and take strength saving throws for the rock throw, which is pretty cool. I like that it gives you a different choice there. We also have the Inspiring Leader. Spend 10 minutes inspiring your companions, shoring up their resolve for a fight. So this, within 9 meters, gain temporary health points equal to your charisma modifier. You cannot roll again until you make a long or short rest. So that's pretty nice. It could be good for a buffing class, like a Bard, if you wanted to go with that. The Infernal Constitution, if you're a Tiefling, you increase your Constitution score by up to 1. You also get resistance to cold damage and poison damage, and you have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned. The Healer Feed, you can heal another creature as an action, which does 1d6 plus 6. That creature can't regain hit points this way until they finish a short rest, so that could be a nice little extra way to heal a target, but I don't think healing is the greatest use of your actions in Baldur's Gate 3. Guile of the Cloud Giant, Bigby presents Glory of the Giants. 4th level, Strike of the Giants, Cloud Strike. You manifested the confounding magic element emblematics of the Cloud Giant, granting you the following benefits. Ability score increase. Increase your strength, constitution, or charisma by 1. Cloudy Escape. Whenever a creature hits you with a weapon attack, you can use a reaction to give yourself resistance to that attack's damage. You then teleport to an unoccupied space. You can use this reaction as a number equal to your proficiency bonus. So that can be 4 per long rest, which is pretty great. Being able to teleport around and increase the stats, great. Gift of the Metal Dragon. You earn the Cure Wounds spell, and you can cast it without expending a spell slot once per long rest. When you're hit by an attack roll, you can use your reaction and grant yourself armor class equal to your proficiency bonus, which is huge. We also have the Gift of the Gem Dragon, increasing intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1. And when you take damage from a creature within 3 meters of you, you use your reaction to deal force damage and attempt to push the creature away. Reactions are awesome, always 4 more of these. We also have the Gift of the Chromatic Dragon. When you take acid, magical damage types of acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison, for short rest, you can use your reaction and give yourself resistance to that damage type. And you also learn the Chromatic Infusion and can cast it once per long rest. So with this, you can touch a weapon and infuse it with any type of damage for 10 turns. And it says anytime it says minute, combat round lasts 6 seconds, so 60 seconds is 10 turns. What's nice about this is you can add cold damage to a weapon and then use a snowburst ring. So if you stab someone with a dagger that's got cold damage on it, you'll create an ice surface around them. Or you can even inflict your bow with cold damage and then create ice surfaces. So it's great for taking out mages. We also have the Fury of the Frost Giant at level 4. You gain the Icy Might emblematic of the Frost Giants, granting you Strength, Constitution, or Wisdom by 1. Born of Ice, you have resistance to cold damage and frigid retaliation after you get attacked with immediately after a creature you can see within 30 meters hits you with a attack, use a reaction, deal a blast of ice. The creature must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, they take 1d4 plus proficiency bonus, and their speed is reduced to 0 until the end of its next turn. And you can use this as many times as your proficiency bonus, so that's up to 4 times. And also that plus the ability to have cold resistance is nice, and you can choose the feat passive, whatever saving throw you want to make. We also have the Flame of the Felagathos, and this increases intelligence or charisma by 1 when you roll fire damage. You have to be a tiefling for this. You can re-roll the fire damage, but you must use the new roll. Whenever you cast a spell that is fire damage, you can wrap yourself in an aura of fire, which deals 1d4 of fire damage to attackers. Another really great spell. The Frightening Initiative, proficiency with a martial weapon. You can learn at least one fighting style option of your choice from the fighter class. If you already have that, you must choose another. This is a really nice one. I wish it was in the base game, because sometimes it's just nice to get a +1 to your armor class. Honestly, a lot of people could use that. Not the most powerful feat, but a lot of people would probably like this one. Fade Away as a gnome. Whenever you are learning a magical attack, you gain a +1 to dexterity or intelligence, and you can use a reaction to become invisible if you get attacked. Until you make your next attack, deal damage, or force someone to make a saving throw. Once you make this ability, you can't do it until you finish a short or long rest. Everybody's Friend is a half-elf. Increase charisma by 1, gain proficiency in deception and persuasion, and if you're already proficient, you gain double that proficiency bonus, so that's huge. Kind of like the actor feat, but a little bit better, I would say. The Piercer, increase your strength or dexterity by 1 by up to 20. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals piercing damage, you roll your damage twice and use the highest result. When you hit a critical hit that deals piercing damage to a target, you roll 1 additional damage dice when determining the extra piercing damage it takes. So what's crazy about this is you also get to increase your strength or dexterity, and if you're using the ballast armor, this becomes incredibly deadly, because you can use the critical hit ring, give yourself an extra piercing damage die, which is doubled, and then you also deal extra damage with it. So this is incredible. The Piercer is a really powerful one. Dragonhide, if you're a dragonborn, increase your strength, constitution, or charisma up to 1, you get a maximum of 20. And when you're not wearing armor, you get dexterity modifier plus 13 as your armor class, so similar to like mage armor, just built in like the draconic sorcerer. You grow retractable claws from the tip of your fingertips, and you can use during unarmed strikes. So not bad, giving yourself the permanent mage armor and also an increase to a stat that's important. Observant increases intelligence or wisdom by 1, and a +5 to your perception investigation bonuses, which can be nice but not super necessary. Chef gives you +1 to constitution or wisdom, and then you also have proficient with cook's utensils if you don't have it, and you can cook special food, which is kind of a cool thing. You can cook enough food for a number of priorities equal 4 plus your proficiency bonus at the end of short rest. Any creature who eats the food and spends 1 or more hit dice to regain hit points regains an extra 1d4 with 1 hour of work or whenever you fish a long rest, you can cook a number of treats equal to your proficiency bonus. These special treats last 8 hours. A creature can use a bonus action to eat it and gain temporary health points equal to your proficiency bonus. That's a nice one, Chef. Not super powerful, but cool. I like any role-playing fancy ones. Telekinetic. So this one increased ability score by 1 to a max of 20. And you can cast Mage Hand without verbal or somatic components. You can also push and pull a creature telekinetically using the ability score. So whatever you increase, your charisma, that's going to be your score that increases that. Ember of the Fire Giant. Strike of the Giants. You manifest a fiery emblematic of Fire Giants, granting you the following benefits. Ability score increase. And also you have fire resistance, searing ignition. Whenever you make an attack on your turn, you can replace a single attack with a magic burst of fire. Each creature of your choice in a 15-foot radius centered around you makes a dexterity saving throw. And failed save, they take damage. So it's DC 8 plus your proficiency bonus. So a little extra fire damage. It's a really nice one. Bountiful Luck. We have so many here. We're almost getting to the end of them though. Bountiful Luck, Halflings, you basically give yourself an... you have magically lend your companions whenever you see them falter. You're not sure how to do. You just wish and happens surely assigned. So basically, this one just like gives your halfling luck to other characters in your team. Crusher. This increases your strength or constitution by 1, and once per turn, when you hit a creature that deals bludgeoning damage, you do move it 2 meters away, and provided the target is no more than 1 size larger than you. So knocking people around with this bludgeoning, that could actually be some cool builds. Elven Accuracy. This is the most popular one. So Elf or Half Elf. Dexterity, Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma increases by 1. And you attack with advantage if you reroll. If you attack with advantage, you can reroll one of the attack rolls. So this just gives you even further hit chance, which is really nice. That's why it's so popular. Elemental Adept. Poison gives you attacks ignore resistance to poison, and you cannot roll a 1 with it. Psionic Mastery increases intelligence by 1, and you learn a psionic power. So Sonic Blast, you can conjure a small beam of energy with your mind. Telepathy gives you mind reading. Tentacle Strikes deals 1 to 4 psychic damage. Disguise Your Nature gives Disguise Self, Exact Brain, and Command Halt. So some pretty nice ones. And I guess these ones here are from another mod that I have. So they're kind of cool, but they give a bunch of passives here, so I won't get into them. But you can see tons of new feats. And I guess I'll take the Chef one just to show that off, because I think that's a cool one. And I guess we'll just proceed with the Dread Overlord Warlock, which is a really cool class. So we got our Animate Dead. We can summon in multiple creatures. We also get extra spells here, things like Spirit Guardians, which is awesome, and Hunger of Hadar. Also, we get another Eldritch Invocation. I have ones that give me like Eldritch Smite, which will hopefully come to console here. Yeah, I got a lot of them here, so I'll just go ahead with that. I just want to show off this class. So we do get the abilities, there are increases here. We also get resistance to necrotic damage and improved Soul Harvest, so we regain more health there. This is a very, very powerful class, so I just want to show this off once we get out there. So we can summon a bunch of things. A Skeletal Warlock, which casts, it can cast some spells too, which is incredible. What I like about it is because you can use this to do like things like Scorching Ray, setting up extra damage without wasting your spell attacks. And with this, we also get the Battle Buddies Forever, allowing our ghost dog to summon friends to his aid, which is incredible. So I will show this off in combat in a moment here. Once we get through it, we also get Animate Dead, Flying Ghouls, and a few different spells here. I'm just going to continue going with these because we have so many options for Eldritch Invocations. These will hopefully come to console as well. Yeah, lots of great choices, especially for the 5e spells one, which I did see is getting put forward to potentially be on console. We also have our Mystic Arcanum here, and I guess we'll just go ahead here. And our final level, final Eldritch Invocation. Life Drinker is not going to work on our class, but I'll still take it anyways just to show it off. So what this is going to look like is we have our summon here, so we can summon in our, here's our cook special food. So from the chef feat, pretty cool. We got ourselves a little bit of extra food, so we can go ahead here, and this will give us 3 camp supplies, and it also gives us a little bit of healing as well, so you could use it for either of those. And then we also have our cook special treats. I love that. But basically what we want to be doing with this class is we want to get summoning. So we do have, I guess we create undead there. We got Conjure Elemental. I'm trying to find our summon our buddy here, because I got my Chief Quazit. I know it's listed here somewhere. I'm just drawing a blank on it. I was drawing a blank. It's just a regular Find Familiar here. So we're going to pop in our Andrus the Devil Dog here, which is super cool. So when we pop this in, we got ourselves a Devil Dog. And then on top of this, he can also summon in a few friends, Battle Buddies Forever. So using this, we get a few more summons. And this is cool. You can, where do they go? There they are. So ghost dogs. We have 2 of them, Chesty Puller and Smedley Butler. So this is cool, giving ourselves a new summon, which is very fun. And then on top of this, we also have a few things like the Skeletal Warlock, the Giant Skeleton, and then the we also have the Spectral Horror, so a few really very, very powerful ones. And we also have our like Flock of Familiars. If you got the 5e spells model, allowing you to summon a few other characters. To our bonus action attack here, which is going to imbue our weapon. So once we get into a combat encounter, I'll show you what this looks like because it's really cool, guys. Yeah, this is just incredible. So we'll close the door here. I'm sorry to this poor... Oh. We'll shut the door and then we're going to take him out. Go into turn-based. And I guess we'll get someone to take him out with just an attack. Bonk. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead here and turn it into a Spectral Horror, which is very powerful. So once we summon this in, this has a few different spells, so we can like make an area grapple foes and deal a little bit extra damage. And then I'll just end our turn-based mode. We'll come out here and I'll show off a couple more of the summons, and then we'll get into like actual combat with them. So put that back in a turn-based and then go ahead with an attack to take them out. Bonk, using Dante's sword there. And then Minsk is going to take them out as well. I feel bad doing this, but just for the video, we'll do this. And what this is going to do is whenever we summon in like the Spectral Horror, this one, this doesn't give us enough space to cast it in. This one does. Okay. So what this is going to do is going to give us a Undead Warlock, which can also deal a good amount of damage. We'll end our turn-based mode and I'll summon in a Giant Skeleton, which probably doesn't have enough space, so we'll just move everyone away and then summon that in, because that's going to be huge. So there we go. I don't know why the skeleton can be summoned there, but we pulled in the Giant Skeleton. And now we'll get to attacking. We also have the crawling claws here, so you can reanimate targets to be able to give you a little bit extra of an edge. But this is our posse. We got multiple summons. I guess Anders the Devil dogs didn't summon in, so we'll use that to pull them back in. And we got our 2 extra dogs again. We're very strong. And then we can just go into somewhere and just drop a pretty strong attack there. This will get us a fight started, so you can see what these can do. So the Spectral Horror here, it can frighten enemies. It can manifest an area that'll grapple foes. You can also possess a target with it. So there's like some pretty effective attacks here that we got. So I guess we'll use this to possess a foe, and then this becomes on our team, which is crazy. And then we also use this as a bonus action, which is also pretty crazy. So we'll just drop this down, and then they get stuck in this area. So, yeah, this thing is busted strong. And then we also have our abilities here to reclaim undead, so you can reclaim any of the undead that we have on our side to be able to heal yourself. We also have our hexes and stuff too. This is a very powerful class, so yeah, this one is fun, especially if you're a fan of, like, we have a few undead here. You can see multiple undead, they all got turned, which is cool. So they're all inflicted. We have a bunch of zombies there, and I guess we'll use this just to attack in this area. Boom, take them out and they exploded. It's gross. But yeah, basically we can turn undead pretty easily. So yeah, this is a very cool class, and we got lots of cool mods, so I just want to showcase some of them. Let's get some updates in Baldur's Gate 3's Patch 7 Mod Manager on console. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.